continuing our series about the Earth and all that we can appreciate and learn from nature. So today, maybe we can hang out on Zoom and talk about the big picture, the planet we live on.
Do you guys ever stop and think about how big our planet is? Like all the people and all the things and ideas that have ever happened have happened on this one planet. That's crazy. Or have you guys ever stopped to think about how small our planet is? It's just one speck in the solar system, one tiny rock in the midst of billions of others, which is also pretty crazy.
So this is an amazing, beautiful picture of our Earth taken from the moon. So that is just so crazy, and it's such a unique perspective to see our planet.
Now, I am going to read a quote from an astronaut, Edgar Mitchell, who saw the Earth from the moon in 1971. Suddenly, from behind the rim of the moon, there emerges a sparkling blue and white jewel, a light, delicate blue sphere laced with slowly swirling veils of white, rising like a small pearl in a thick sea of black mystery. It takes more than a moment to fully realize this is Earth, home.
These are the comments of an astronaut, Edgar Mitchell, who saw Earth from the moon in 1971. How crazy would that have been to be an astronaut in space looking at our planet?
It would have been so amazing to be one of only a few people to be able to actually see the Earth. I think it would be such an incredible thing to see.
I think so too. I think astronauts have an amazing job. So I thought it would be fun now if we have a quiz where we can ask each other really fun questions about the picture that we're looking at. And you guys at home can try and answer the questions too. And maybe you can have like a little fun competition with your siblings or your parents to see if you guys can get all the answers right. So I will start, and I want to ask, what is astronaut Mitchell seeing that is a, quote, delicate blue?
Well, if you guys want to think about the answer to that question, I'm also going to think about the answer. And I think that the delicate blue that astronaut Mitchell is talking about is probably the ocean that covers a lot of the Earth. And that's what the blue that they're seeing is, all of the oceans.
That's correct, Daisy. That's so cool that we can see all of the ocean and we can see how much water there is actually on our planet.
All right, I have another question. What do you think are the swirling veils of white?
That's a tricky one. Well, there's lots of things on Earth that are white, like the snow, things like that. But there's a lot of white on this picture. So I think that it must be the clouds.
That's correct.
I want to ask now. This one I think is a little tricky, but in the quote that you read, Daisy, I want to ask, what is the thick sea of black mystery that was referenced?
Whoa, that is a hard one. The thick sea of black mystery. Well, I can see all the black space in this picture. And I'm thinking that it is probably space. It's, it's the sky, it's space. It appears black because we know because it cannot reflect any light from the sun. So all of the space all around our planets is all black.
Wow, I didn't know that's why space was black, Daisy. So that's
Mm.
so great that you said that. That's so fascinating.
Why do you think that we can't see the lower half of Earth?
Hmm, that is also a really good question. So why is only half of the Earth illuminated and the other half in darkness?
Hmm.
Well, actually what that reminds me of daytime and of nighttime.
Hmm.
Because in daytime, everything is lit up, and at nighttime, everything is dark.
Hmm.
And I know that we get night and day based on how the Earth moves around the sun and which parts of the Earth is facing the sun. So I think the lower half of the Earth in the picture that's darker must be because that's the side that's in the nighttime.
That is so cool that when we look at Earth, we can only see part of it because of day and night. That's such an interesting thing that we can learn.
I have one last question,
Mhm.
and I want to know why you think that sometimes the Earth is called the blue planet. Why do you think people would call it this?
The blue planet. Well, that's interesting because, they could call it, because we're looking at the Earth right now and we can see that it's blue and it's white. They could call it the white planet because there's so much white on there. And we know that a lot of Earth is covered in, trees and forests. Why don't we see green? It could be called the green planet. But I think that Earth is called the blue planet because so much of the Earth is covered in water and our oceans that a lot of what we can see from space is blue. So the oceans make the Earth so blue that we call it the blue planet.
That's a really good answer, Daisy.
Mm.
It also highlights such a unique and wonderful and important aspect of Earth, too, which is
Mm.
that we have so much running water on our planet.
It's true. We're so lucky that we have this planet that we can live on with all the things that we need to survive on.
Well, this was great. I loved looking at this picture of the Earth from such a
Mhm.
new perspective. And it's so much fun playing our game. And we hope at home you guys were able to answer all the questions too.
Yeah. All right, now we are going to do a really fun craft. We are going to make a really cool version of the Earth, which is very fitting with this week's episode theme, and it's going to be really fun. Okay, so I'm going to do the craft one way, and then Ariane is going to do it another way, but they're both going to be super fun, and you can choose whichever one you would rather do, or if you have different utensils and stuff at home, you can choose whichever one is best for you. All right, so I'm gonna explain my craft first, and then Ariane is gonna explain the one she's gonna do. So to make the craft that I'm gonna do, we are going to make a wax version of the Earth by using crayons, and it's gonna be super fun. So first, what you're going to need, you're going to need some wax paper, and you're just going to need to cut out two identical circles of the wax paper, and they don't have to be perfect. The Earth isn't perfect either, so it'll be great. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get some crayons. You can get green and blue. You could also get some, I don't know, white and brown to really get the Earth colors in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to shave them, and then we're going to put them on a piece of wax paper and we're going to melt them with an iron. We'll probably need to be super careful for that part. So if you need your parents' help or your grandparents' help, that's great. And then we're going to, melt the wax, and it'll become this beautiful Earth that we can make totally unique, and it'll be different from everyone else's based on the way that we'll put our wax shavings on, and it'll be super fun.
So I'm going to be doing the same craft, but I'm going to be doing it with different materials. So what I first did is I cut out a circle out of cardstock. So if you have cardboard at home, you can cut out a circle like an old cereal box, or if you just have thick paper like I do. And then you'll need some paint. So I'm using green, blue, and white. And you'll also need some wax paper. And to make the swirls, instead of an iron, we'll be using our fingers. So you can do whichever method works best for you.
Okay, so now what you're going to do is take your crayons. I just used green and blue because that's what was easiest for me. And then you're going to take some scissors or a knife or whatever it is. You'll probably need some help for this. And you're going to use it to shave your crayon to get some shavings. And it's kind of hard to do, so you'll probably need to just have some patience and work a little hard, but that's okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to place your crayon wax shavings on your piece of wax paper in any design you want to make it look like the earth, or you could just do it, I don't know, any way you want. And it'll be super pretty and super nice and amazing. And after you do this, we're going to take a piece of string and fold it in half. You should probably do it a couple, maybe like 6 to 8 inches long. And you're going to fold it in half and place it in your wax shavings, your crayon shavings. And then you'll be able to have a string to carry it around. So it'll be like an ornament, or you can, I don't know, put it on a keychain or something. All right, there we go. That's my earth. All right, and then you're going to take your string. Well, if I can find my string. Okay, and you're just going to fold it in half. Okay, and put the ends on the inside of this. So you have a nice, beautiful string to hold your stuff together. Okay. There we go. And now what you're going to do is place your other piece of wax paper on top of the shavings. Careful not to move the shavings too much or disturb it too much. And then you're going to take a piece of paper towel or a towel or tea towel and place it on top. And then you're going to get your iron. You're going to heat it up just a little bit, put it on low so it's not too hot because you don't want to burn anything. And then you're going to apply the heat to the crayon shavings to let it melt. And then once it's melted, you can just let it cool. And then it'll be done. Okay, once you have melted your wax crayon shavings, and once it's cooled, and if you have a little bit extra wax on the outside, you can trim it with some scissors to make it a perfect shape. I didn't quite add enough crayon shavings to mine, so it's not quite as colorful as I would have liked, but that's okay because we learn from our mistakes and that's totally fine. So, but this is mine and this is my earth and it's amazing, and I hope you guys enjoy this craft. And now Ariane is going to explain hers.
So I've set my circle cutout on just some scrap paper so your paint doesn't get everywhere. You can put some newspaper or some paper towel. And now I'm going to take my 3 colors and I'm going to add some dots all around my circle. So I am going to start with green and put some random dots everywhere. And then I will put some, I think I'll use blue next because we saw from the picture that there's so much water on Earth. So maybe with the blue, I'll go like this. And then I am going to put some white to mimic the clouds that we saw in the picture. And if you have brown, then you can use brown too. but I'm going to use these 3 colors. So now I am going to take my wax paper and put it on top, just like this. And I'm going to use my fingers to swirl it all around and mix it and create my own unique earth, just like Daisy did with the crayons. And then I'm going to have to leave it to dry. And it might take a day, or it might take a little bit longer than a day. So you'll just have to set it aside. Okay, so I think I smushed it well enough. And now I am just going to lift up my wax paper very carefully and see what it reveals. And there's my earth.
Also, I'm so sorry, I forgot to mention that on your wax earth, if you want to, if it feels sturdy enough and if you have enough wax in there, you can peel both sides of the wax paper off, but mine isn't quite thick enough to do that, so I'm going to leave the wax paper on there. But if yours is thicker and sturdy enough, you can definitely peel it off and it'll be much prettier and nicer. But you'll have to be careful because it'll be quite delicate. And same with Ariane's craft, it can be quite delicate. And once you're done with it, you want to be really careful, just like how you want to be careful with our earth, our real earth, because it's also very delicate and we should treat it with respect and be kind to it. And we can do that by recycling, throwing away our trash and not leaving it on the ground and littering. And we can conserve energy by closing doors and turning off lights. And just remember, just like this craft, we'll have to be careful with it, but we also have to be careful with our real planet, our home that we live on.
That's so true, Daisy. This earth is a great example of being careful with the earth and being patient. So I'm not even going to try and move my earth. I think I'm just going to set it aside and let it dry for a bit. But what a fun craft. I really love the way yours turned out, Daisy.
Thank you. I love the way yours turned out too. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
We hope you have fun with this craft and really enjoy making your own little earth. All right, thank you guys for watching this week. We hope you enjoyed learning all about the earth and doing a fun little craft. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.